What lie that you told had the biggest impact on someone else's life? 1. Organized a party and invited a lot of people. My friend had been hanging out with a girl who was new in town. I invited her too. He was, and still is, short, chubby, hairy, rarely the smartest in the room, but an unimaginably kind and nice human being. She was pretty and hanging out in a group where guys heavily outnumber girls, although she was using him because he had a car, just to drive her around. That day he asked me if I thought he had a chance if he made a move on her. Smelling the defeat already, I told him absolutely dude. At least he would get rejected and be able to move on instead of orbiting her. It worked though, and they are still together almost 8 years later. He still thanks me sometimes for helping him make up his mind. 2. It won't impact her until someone finally calls her out on it, but I told my sister that futons were invented by a native South American tribe called the Futoni, and she's been sharing this fact with everyone. 3. My grandmother suffered from pretty serious dementia before she died. She was regularly trying to evacuate the people from her assisted living facility because of alien invasions. One day my mom calls me, beyond her wits' end, because the assisted living facility is fed up and would love to evict my grandmother, but they can't get her calm enough to do so. I think about it for a minute and I tell my mom to tell my grandmother that my sister, who worked for the government at the time, has negotiated with the aliens and they've agreed to leave us alone. My mother was horrified and wanted to be offended for a moment, stammered, and then said, "Hold on, I'll call you back." So my mom calls the assisted living facility and tells them to put my grandmother on the phone. She tells her what I told her too, and Grandma immediately calms down, tells everyone it's okay, the aliens have agreed to leave us alone, and never saw another alien invasion again. 4. I'm pretty skinny, and I have just moved to a new school. A kid who was overweight told me he wished he was skinny. I told him I used to be fat and that I started running, exercising, and being more careful about what I ate, and lost a ton of weight. He looked like he hadn't heard that kind of encouragement before. I moved away shortly after. Saw him a few years later on social media and he lost the weight and looked great. 5. 14 years ago in college, I lied to a friend that this guy liked her. And then I told the guy that my friend liked him. Bam. They started flirting heavily that night and now they've been happily married almost 10 years.